I'm actually like feeling very tuned up. Like I feel very like activated and trying to just like do the things I know to do, which are like work out, take a walk, I'm doing those things.
Just flick your hair, girl.
Yeah.
Find out world.
I was going to say good and leave it at that, but I'm like, this is an honest space.
We're officially live.
Yeah, this is an exciting day.
And so I'm thrilled. So thank you to the listeners for joining in, to our crew. Thank you. And without further ado, welcome to Wild and Well Together. We are excited to be with you. This episode is about friendship, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty of that. We'll also have some fun, some laughter. But we are so glad that you're here today. Thank you for joining us, and we will end with practical tools to walk away with, as always. Without further ado, what's your insight on friendship and where you want to take it today?
One thing I was thinking about as we were developing this conversation was what are some aspects of friendship that we don't talk about enough? And I often hear like quality over quantity, and I think that is such a great guiding principle for friendship, but it doesn't feel practical in some senses. And I think one of the keys that I've observed in my own life and the friendships that I have is adaptability.
Okay.
And that is such a key ingredient, I think, of enduring friendship. And I don't know that we talk about that enough, or that we even give ourselves the permission to be adaptable as friends, or ask for our friends to be adaptable with us in life. And so that's sort of, I think, where we're headed today. Any thoughts from you just on that high level?
Am I adaptable within my friendships, or am I more rigid? So that's, as you're asking me that, I'm like listening to you.
We're like, reflecting in real time here.
Yeah. And so I like kind of got lost in the meta of it. I was like, oh, on that spectrum of adaptability and rigidity.
Yeah.
Where do I fall when it comes to friendships?
Yeah.
Because I've had some beautiful friendships. I had some hard.
Yeah.
And so is that on me? Is that just natural? Just so I'm just in a reflective place. I'm just sitting in it, leaning off of your insights.
Love it. This conversation is probably best geared towards you if you have, if you feel like you are trying to keep up with friends, or you feel like you have an abundant set of friendships in your life. And we just want to acknowledge and see those of you who feel like you don't. Maybe if you're feeling lonely, or if you feel like you don't have a lot of friendships, we see you.
Yep.
And be looking at doing another episode, really talking about how you can feel lonely in a friendship, and
for
what
sure
loneliness looks like as well.
Today, though, is that navigating the adaptability within friendship, and what does friendship look like in adulthood? One of the things, I'm getting a smile on my face as I think about this. Jen is an amazing friend. We have walked hard things together, and we've laughed a lot. Jen also has great friends in other circles that you have from college days, growing up, whatever it may be, and then beyond. One of Jen's circles loves Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
So, in light of friendship shared activities,
yes,
one of them would be Dancing with the Stars. Jen, for you, tell us where you're at.
The question of the week is, for unpopular opinions, is Dancing with the Stars officially now a cool show to watch? Like, is it a cool show? And I say yes. Although I've been saying yes for the last 3 years straight, so I'm biased. But I believe that Dancing with the Stars is becoming more and more culturally relevant, culturally cool.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more people tune in.
Yeah.
So that's my unpopular opinion this week.
Okay.
What do you say?
Yeah. So okay, we differ here. No, we don't differ. I think that Dancing with the Stars is so incredible. Please hear me say that. When we talk about timing and how much time I can allot to shows,
fair.
For so long, I have not watched it. My mom and my sister do.
Okay.
And so I get the snippets. I get the little TikTok of it, right? Yeah. Like I get that amount of what it is for the past, let's say 7 seasons.
Okay.
But I have ride or die people who are fans from the beginning in my life. You're one of them.
Love it.
This year, though, I've come back to watching.
Love that.
So am I jumping on the bandwagon? Yes. I'll own it.
Yep.
Robert? Oh, I love Bindi. I love Bindi. So now that her younger brother's on it, Like, I even know the names. I know some.
That's fun.
But so there's lots of different ones. Do you have a favorite, or do you think one particular group will win?
I'll
You want to hedge your bets?
I'll go on my bets.
Okay.
I have a couple favorites, so that feels like a scapegoat. But if I had to bet, I think that Whitney, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives contestant, there are two of them, but Whitney is the one with reddish strawberry blonde hair. She can move,
Cool.
man. She looks so effortless. I am in awe, and I am jealous watching how she can just move so freely.
Yeah.
And I love that for her. And she seems like so comfortable out there. And so if I had to guess, I think it's her and her partner, which is Mark Ballas, who I also adore.
Which he's a ride or die, right?
He's
been there from the beginning.
So that's where I'm placing my bets.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for the wild ones, those listening, do you think that Dancing with the Stars, DW, TS, I even know that, do you think that it is cool to watch that now, or that it brings a coolness about it? Let's leave it at that, because if someone doesn't think it's quality work, that's just a lie.
Yeah.
Right? It's incredible. And those athletes, they are athletic.
They are athletic.
All of them. Here's the other piece, and we'll get into this. I love the joy it brings in.
I do
These
too.
comedians, we have people from the past, like that I loved in the 90s, that are back out.
Yes.
Didn't know you were still around. Love that you're still around. And
Out
then
there
now,
moving.
I mean, gymnasts. Okay, so I think that's why Robert, and who's the gymnast on there this year?
Oh, it's Jordan.
Jordan, yes.
Yeah.
Comes out the first week and like is full on splits, somersaults, back handsprings. I don't even remember all of them, but I'm like, you're up, down.
Oh,
So cool.
yeah.
So I do think that and then Robert can do all those. And I know that might not be technical dancing, but I am very impressed. So,
Yeah.
all right, we'll leave it at that. Do you think Dancing with the Stars is cool? Please submit it. We would love to hear what you have to say. Let's take it back then to friendship. Let's go into friendships changing.
Yeah.
That adaptability, right? Now being no longer in the kindergarten sandbox, or not even in college season of life.
Mm-hmm.
Although these are relevant for how we work with our kids, or if I am in college listening to this, how do I have friendships in adulthood that are no longer in previous seasons of my life, an elementary, middle school, high schooler, right? So it is valuable. Or if I'm an elder in my veteran seasons of life, how do my friendships look different? My roles and responsibilities and all of that. Tell us your thoughts on how do we adapt, or what are some practical ways that allow us to do so?
I think that growing up, I feel like personally, and I don't know how many other people would resonate with this listening, but I often, at the phrase best friends forever type rhetoric.
BFF, yeah, add those necklaces, cut them in half.
Yes, 100%. And I think as I've matured and gotten older, I think I've been able to parse that out a little bit. And I think there's some permission giving in that phrase that we sort of have to decouple a little bit. And I think that there's wisdom in knowing and acknowledging that friendships won't be static, given that life is not static.
Yeah.
And who we are and what we go through and our circumstances and the capacity that we have or don't have is this roller coaster of up, down, and all around. And our friendships inherently can't stay the same through that.
Sure.
And I don't know that we give ourselves permission to check in at those different up, down, all around points where we're like, what does it mean to be friends with Becca right now in this season? What does she need from me? What do I need from her?
Yeah.
And I think that is something that we could all benefit from. I don't think I do a good enough job of that proactively in my friendships, but I think I have some sort of intuitive acceptance that I know that this is true, but I think when you can be in friendship with somebody and name this and give that to one another, I think that even deepens your friendship.
Yeah, it's a vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
I like that idea of this intuitive piece, and then connecting it almost with an inventory or a reflection,
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, in the past, we've done life together and we had a lot of fun in college days, or we had a lot of fun living post college in the working world previous to a partner.
Yeah.
Oh, those were some really fun times.
100%.
And so, like, oh, we shared a lot of bonding, a lot of hard conversations, a lot of late nights.
Yeah.
Like, I used to love pillow talk. And, like, right, some of those things hold memories and there's this nostalgia to it. And so I'm finding myself in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, oh, most of those friends that I had in that space, that funnel has come down to maybe like 2 or 3 because I'm a decade post of that time. And I've had other life happenings transpire. So I like that idea of like, do I actually come back now to the present moment, 2025, and say, okay, these 5 friends I talk to the most, and maybe that's a question too, is what's my metric for friendship and how I engage in it? Is it the amount of times I text them? Is it those that do life and pop up randomly? Is it those that bring meals when we're in a hard situation?
Yeah.
Is it those that I just get the most joy, even though I haven't talked to you in 20 years when I think about our shared life together? But coming back to taking inventory, I think it's just important that we come to this place of history matters and past relationships matter. How much weight does history or that historical friendship hold for you?
My sense is that history is important. And I do think that in life, it is a beautiful thing to have friends that can date back or reference back to who you were in college, in middle school, high school, whatever it may be. And personally, for me, that is important. And I have a handful of those friends. However, I don't think that history necessarily equates to obligation. So I think that there's something there that, like all things, all relationship, it takes work to shape shift a historical friendship to make it suitable and adaptable to where you are 10 years later, 20 years later. But I don't think that history is necessarily a direct correlation to obligation either.
So I'm just going to repeat it so I can take it in and slow down, is history does not equate to obligation.
Yeah.
So even my ties to the past does not mean I now have to engage with those just because they were of the past.
Yeah.
I may want to, or
100%.
they may ebb and flow, or it may come up in a different way. However, I do not have to hold the feeling or act on that feeling of like, I must continue to be a good friend or I must continue this relationship just because we've done life of the past.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I think it can feel hard. Like that can feel hard.
Yeah, that's cutthroat.
History is an obligation. But I do think in the context of high quality friendships and sort of where you are in the present moment, like you have to make decisions about where you're going to invest your time in friendships and other relationships in your life. And yeah, I think I think about that as like an opportunity to let go of some guilt of like, how can you give yourself permission to not necessarily think that a historical friendship is immediately has to be, if it's not serving you, if it's not serving the other person, that's okay.
Yeah.
20 years later.
Yes. That what's coming up as you share that is I have a friend that we've known each other since kindergarten. We've gone back and forth in our last 15, 20 years of not talking, and then a random text or Instagram message. And we used to share cards back in the day, middle school and high school, where it would be, like 2 old ladies with funny caps on their head, or it would be like a funny landing joke or whatever it was, but they were greeting cards or happy birthday cards. And she and I haven't talked in years, or it's been that sporadic.
Yeah.
And so to say like she's my very best friend, and I hope you're listening because I value you so much.
Yeah.
To say she's my very, very best friend, we haven't done life together in so long.
Right.
However, 2 weeks ago, I was up in the mountains and we went to this random mountain store and they had all these greeting cards. And so I took a picture of this greeting card that was like, happy belated birthday. And it said something, yada, yada, yada. And it had a funny photo. And it took me back to that place of like, hey, I'm just thinking about you. And I think that that's also, we as women, or I'll speak for myself, it comes back to that idea of I can give permission to also connect back to her.
Yes.
And say like, hey, in this moment, I'm thinking of you.
Yes.
And I'm filled with so much joy. I think about our hardships, our good, like all of those things that made us who we were in childhood.
Yeah.
And that we did life together. I think about where we separated and And I think about this moment now where we're coming back together for this time.
Yeah.
She and I haven't talked again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
However, that shared moment was enough for that time.
Yes. It's like a snapshot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I give myself permission, and she does too, to say like, hey, when you're back in town, maybe we'll get together, maybe we won't.
Yeah. Right.
But I think we as women, as you're sharing all that, is like this idea of that permission and adaptability. I'll speak for myself. Like, it's okay. As a recovering people pleaser, you'll hear me say,
Me too, girl.
as a recovering people pleaser, I have to give myself permission that I don't have to be best friends with everyone.
Yeah.
I can be friendly,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have to be best friends with.
Yeah.
And so I think that's beautiful. The history does not equate to obligation.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I think another factor, I would say another factor in finding adaptability in friendship is this idea of like reciprocity too. And having to think about sort of this two-way street of your friendships. And are you getting that? Do you feel really lopsided in certain friendships? And I think the reality is that there will be times and seasons where you are the giver in the friendship, and then other times in seasons where you are the receiver. And I think that those snapshots or those sort of durations of time may look different. It may be like 3 days, or it could be 3 months, and I think that as long as there is a degree that you personally feel, and only we can all answer that individually, of reciprocity, that also feels like a key factor in sort of assessing where and when to be adaptable with your friends.
Yes. Again, yours, Jen, up in this wisdom after wisdom after wisdom. I am like, I've been a crap friend sometimes. I have not reciprocated that love.
Me too.
And so as you're sharing that, there are moments, let me be the first to raise my hand and say, there are moments when there have been friends who have carried me through the friendship.
Same.
Like on their back, with meals, with continued, I don't know, prayer, outreach, whatever, text, whatever it may be, or even silence, and then came back and said like, hey, I still see you. Yo, how are you?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and so let me be the first to say, I'm not always the one that's in the right of reciprocity and honoring that to someone else.
Yeah.
And serving people well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that there's this piece of giving permission again for freedom of like, it is adaptable. It is a give and take.
Yeah.
There is this up, down, all around to it. And so I like this idea. So first we've said like historical does not equal obligation. And now this idea of reciprocity of friendship is a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
And that street may look different in different seasons of life. And yet it's super important to have.
Yeah.
Someone who gives and takes.
Right.
And again, I love that you said it. Maybe it's 3 days, maybe it's 3 months, maybe even 3 years, right? Like, who knows? I mean, I just shared a story of like a friend who I love dearly, who we've done life for 30 years now, and yet not always been back and forth, back and forth. One of like all total transparency is, I think those people that have seen me in my hardest moments and love me through it are some of my closest friends. You're one of them. And I have a small group of friends that I keep close, and that ebbs and flows in different seasons. However, at one time, I'm not a person that has 45 friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm friendly, I hope. Like, I hope if you see me on the street, call me out. If you see me on the street, I am friendly to you. My close friends that walk life with me are small, because I don't know how to serve my time in a way that is reciprocated healthily.
Yeah.
And so like to really think about close friends and friendship, those that have walked and I've allowed into my life have blessed me so much.
Mm-hmm.
And in certain seasons, I could not love them back the way that they were loving me.
Yeah.
And in other seasons, I've shown up over and over and over again, being like, hey, I know this is the 4th phone call in a month. Just know I'm still here. And then either they've come back or it's died out.
Yeah. And you're giving it, not even yourself, but like the friendship itself, permission to sort of let that be what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's freeing to a degree.
For sure. I think that there is that freedom of, hey, we're just doing the best we can. Going back to our beginning of like, where do we find meaning and purpose? We as humans don't have a blueprint. And so it's saying like, okay, from the time that I get on this earth, now I'll live it the best that I can.
Mm-hmm.
and with the humans that I care.
Yes.
And
And the finite energy and time that you have.
Yes. Yes. And so again, this friendship, as I look back, I just want to make sure as we go through these life transitions that we are aware and give ourselves that permission to be adaptable.
Yeah.
To say, I'm going to repeat it over and over again, that history and what I had with people in the past does not equate obligation. Hopefully there's some beautiful relationships that last the decades. And I'm very grateful for those that have. And then second is reciprocity. We need to show up for each other.
Yeah.
And also recognize and be grateful when those others do for us. And then the third is how do we operate in transitions, in transitional periods? And I don't know if you have insight on that or what's coming up for you when I ask this idea of like transitions within friendship.
Yeah. Life transitions can be so many things. First of all, starting a new job, having a child, getting married, experiencing the death of someone you love, having someone you love be sick. I think there are so many at every turn. There are so many life transitions that come our way. And I think at every transition, friendships sort of can be like a bystander in the sense that that life transition is most likely going to impact your friendships in one way or another. And how can we do a better job of sort of naming the transition and asking for what we need, or just simply saying, I'm not going to be the most responsive version of myself for the next 2 months because I'm starting a new job and I'm swimming in work and not understanding what my new job is. So I wonder if there's something there, at least when it comes to life transitions, of taking a moment to pause and just be like, naming that with your friends.
But that takes vulnerability and communication.
It does, man. That's the good stuff.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. That it does, right?
It does.
Because that's the difficulty is.
And self-awareness.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that's actually the thing. Let's start there. Let's start with the internal. It takes me having enough capacity to say, I'm aware that this is a different season for our friendship. Or that I'm in a different role in this friendship.
Yeah.
Because as you were sharing that, what I thought of is most of the friendship is almost that sounding board that receives and sees and then reverberates the other person's life experiences.
Yeah.
But is not necessarily the one that is directly impacted.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So all your life experience, most of it has not actually been you and I doing life together side by side as your partner, as your sibling, as your parent, as your roommate.
Yeah.
There's a few of those in our lives, which we're really grateful for. And also that's not been our story. So I then watched as a friend, and we've shared fun experiences, and we've also walked the hard. And I've sat with you, or I've moved through the mud with you. I've laughed a lot with you and danced with you. And yet what you choose does not directly impact me. And yet I have to decide, how can I best support you? And then how can I be aware enough in my own transitions then to say, Jen, how I need you as a friend is this.
Yeah.
It takes vulnerability.
It does take vulnerability. And the other thing I'm thinking as we're talking, there may be some friendships in your life that understanding is silent and just intuitive.
So the renegotiation of the relationship or where it stands does not have to be discussed.
Sometimes I wonder. I mean, I think in some situations it does, and others it doesn't. But I do think that I have friends in my life, certain ones, that know what life transitions may be going on for me at any certain point in time. And maybe they just have so much understanding of who I am as a person that they are like, Jen doesn't have to say it. I know that this is probably what she needs right now.
Yeah.
Or I trust that she'll tell me what she needs. I do think life transitions, there's no denying, impact friendships.
For sure.
And quality.
For sure. And I think it is that piece of, especially when transitions are hard. Anytime there's a transition in psychology, we talk about the grief that comes with it, because it's saying, here's how existence operated. Now I'm switching. And therefore that switch is a loss. And anytime there's a loss, that there's grief. Those go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Loss and grief. And so I think about, we'll go to the fun first. I think about previous dating, right? Like I dated someone for a long time and I had a friend, I have a dear friend and she's a ride or die for since we were little. And she chose to speak into my life when it was not healthy. I was not healthy to him and for sure he was not healthy to me. And she was one of the few that like sat there and said like, Beck, this is like, you have to stop. Like you can't rescue him. Like there just was so much. And she was one of two people in my life that like stopped and said, oh, it's not worth it anymore.
Mm.
And you would have thought that she took all my money, my car, everything. Cause I would love to say that I was a good friend in that moment. I was angry. There were tears involved. There was a lot involved. And yet she saw me in that moment and she chose to call it out, right? And she's a friend who normally we don't have to say things because we've done life for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And we have those rhythms in place that just naturally come. And we have created rituals that we get to see each other. But because we've done life for so long together, when she spoke that over me, I was like, I don't want to trust you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know me.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
Yeah.
And then I like stepped back and that relationship closed off as it needed to.
Yeah.
And now I am married with two beautiful kids and very, very happily partnered to Nick. And I'm so grateful that she had that conversation because had she not, I don't know where I would have been because everyone else was like, yeah, just keep doing you.
Yeah.
But she chose to sit in the mud. She chose to walk through the mud with me. And she chose to like speak that
Yeah.
and renegotiate like, Beck, where are you at in this transition? And then follow through on the back.
Yes. And
So-
still be there
And still be there.
through the transition. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother thing, right? Let me drop this truth bomb on you and then peace out. Like, that's not a friend.
Right. Right.
But there's those people in our lives who also, like, what's it called? Unsolicited advice, where it's like,
right.
I don't welcome this. I don't welcome this at all. So, okay, coming back to the space here, for the wild ones, for those of you listening, what do you think of friendships? What are practical ways in which you navigate, renegotiate, and find yourself adapting to friendships in adulthood? What does that look like for you? Please send us DMs. Please throw it in the comments. We want this to be engaging for all of us as a community. We want to build out the community. We're excited to build out the community. And we care about the friends that we surround ourselves with. And that includes you. We welcome you into this circle and want to learn from you as well.
So when we're thinking about giving ourselves permission to be adaptable in friendships, just to close it out in terms of the things we talked about, one is, a big filter on this topic, I think, is history and you and us, making decisions for ourselves in terms of how important that historical context is and how much that matters to us, but knowing that it's not an immediate meaning for obligation either. Second is reciprocity, that friendships really are a two-way street, and be looking for that and be looking for how you can be a better giver. If you are, more in the receiver role, how can you be a better version of yourself in that friendship to facilitate really that two-way reciprocal relationship? And then three is thinking about the life transitions that impact your friendships and being aware enough to name those things, and when appropriate, when you feel like it's right, how can you show up and ask your friends for different things that you need in different seasons? Renegotiate how your friendship operates given the life transition that you're going through. Yeah, let's do some grounding.
Yeah, I would love to. So 60 seconds to centered is the practice that I offer in my mental health sphere and also want to bring in to wild and well together. And so one of the things is finding your feet grounded or your seat, or if you're standing or whatnot, but really is coming into a comfortable spot. Friendship matters. It can create a lot of emotions in us. And so one of the practices in a term we use in counseling is called anchoring. And it's this idea of coming back and how can I feel rooted? Because especially when I'm in a conversation like I shared with my best friend of relationships ending, or when I have just shared about my parents' divorce, or I've shared about a death in the family, or whatever my stories I bring to the table, and I'm highly vulnerable, I'm like screaming, how do I get back into a safe place? I come to this place of anchoring. So take one hand and put it over the chest, if that serves you, another hand over the belly. So right now we're feeling our hands grounding it into our stomach and our chest. We roll our shoulders up and back and down. And then on the inhale, feel the chest rise and the belly come out. And then exhale, feel everything grind down.